Let's talk about that and more with Arseniy Yatsenyuk, former Prime Minister of Ukraine and Chairman of the Kyiv Security Forum, who is also in Munich. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Sheila. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. What is your highest hope, I suppose, from this summit?
You know, frankly, I've got my highest hope a few days ago during Ramstein, because a number of European countries already pledged to support Ukraine with around $38 billion in military support. And I really commend the UK government, which decided to provide Ukraine with anti-missile systems and anti-missile rockets. So the thing is that Europeans are doing its part of the job, and I really commend them, and they deserve the credit. In terms of this ongoing Munich Security Conference, you know, an overall mood is how to mend defenses with Americans. As you mentioned, Marco Rubio has arrived to Munich, and he is more a transatlantic guy. He is, let me put it this way, a regular conservative, and people expect that maybe this Munich Security Conference could somehow mitigate the tension between the US and the European Union.
Can I just be clear what you mean there? You're saying he's a more regular conservative. I mean, in normal language, are you saying he's a more normal politician than Donald Trump, and that could make all the difference here?
So he is an orthodox conservative, let me put it this way. Because, you know, I want to be very diplomatic, because otherwise we're going to pour the gasoline onto those who want to actually get some kind of additional ruptures between the US and Europeans. So no way.
You talked there about that you got your highest hope the other day in that £78 billion of help for military equipment and military matters. But President Zelensky was very critical, wasn't he, of Europe at Davos? He was saying there is too much talk and not enough action. Will that £78 billion have calmed his fears about that?
38 billion.
38, my apologies.
So the president, he is under pressure, my president. And look, this war has been going on for 12 years. Could you imagine? On the 20th of February 2014, Russia launched a large-scale invasion against Ukraine when Russia actually illegally annexed Crimea. And an all-out war is going for 4 years. And it's obvious that the president is under the pressure. But look at the data. So Europeans managed to substitute Americans in 2025 with both financial and military support. So whether we have to do more, no doubt. Because suspected criminal Putin, he wants to outweigh us, and he is dragging his feet. And look what's happening right now with these so-called talks. That's a sham talks. It's a kind of coy. You know, he has changed completely his negotiating team, and he reappointed a no-name chair of his negotiating team, Mr. Medinsky, instead of military intelligence. So right now we are at quite a focal point. The thing is that we need to do more, we can do more in order to make Ukraine to prevail in this war. Russia lost more than 1.3 million of killed and injured. Russia's economy is nosediving. They are making just an incremental gains on the battlefield. So once again, my message to the entire world, Ukraine can win, and Ukraine has to win. And if Ukraine wins, we will restore this global order. Because right now we are in a kind of a complete global chaos.
Can I come in there? On that, you say you will restore the global order. With Donald Trump in charge in the United States, that might be tougher than you think. And on that subject, I know you said earlier you need to be diplomatic and not want to prize apart Europe from America. I mean, in a way, Donald Trump himself is trying to do that. And US Democrats have gone there to this summit to urge European leaders, including our own Keir Starmer, to stand up more against the dismantling of that order. Do you want to see tougher talk from leaders like Macron, Starmer, Maloney?
Frankly speaking, I would be happy to see tougher actions instead of tougher cheap talks.
Such as?
Oh, well, the more you provide support to Ukraine, the more it is going to be explicit for Russia that Russia won't have an ability to wait us out. The second one is it's important to have Americans on board, and you can find this kind of compromise with the stick and carrot policy. And the third one, you mentioned President Trump. Look, the U.S. is still a vibrant democracy. Look at the numbers, look at the poll numbers in the U.S. 8 out of 10 Americans support Ukraine. 8 out of 10 Americans believe that Russia is a belligerent state and is an enemy of Russia. And they are facing a midterm elections. So I wish President Trump to get the Nobel Peace Prize. But he has to stop the war in Ukraine that has been waged by Russia, not on the Putin's terms, but on Ukrainian terms. And he still has this chance. At least he managed to turn the screw on Russians with these oil sanctions. And look at the Russian economy and look at the Russian revenues. They are going down. So my message, once again, is that we have enough potential. It's all about guts and stamina.
Well, and money. You said Ukraine will win. Is that with or without Donald Trump? With or without America?
There is no way for Ukrainians to win this war without Americans. And I want to be very clear about that. And if some in the US administration believe that they can turn its back on Ukraine and just to abandon Ukraine, this would be a disaster for the United States and for the national security of the United States. This would be the betrayal of the US, not of Ukraine. And
why? Why would it be the end of the US?
I didn't say it's going to be the end of the US. I said it's going to be the betrayal of the US national security, because Russia posed the threat to the US. Russia is not alone. Russia is a close ally to China, and both two of them wants to reestablish a new type of Chinese global order. And this is the direct threat to the United States. It's so obvious.
Do you feel confident that whatever we hear publicly from time to time from Donald Trump, do you feel confident that that solid support is going to stay solid?
As of now, we got solid and strong support from our European allies and United Kingdom. As of now, we got a verbal support from the United States. As of now, the US still sells weaponry to Ukraine and to NATO. As of now, the US provides both reconnaissance and intelligence. So as of now, we still believe that we have Americans on board.
And would you talked about being satisfied with the financial support that was announced a couple of days ago. From this summit, would you like to see Marco Rubio really confirm for you that that support is constant, come what may?
I would like to see Marco Rubio and actually the President of the United States, who will ask the US Congress to provide a new security supplemental for Ukraine. This really matters. At this particular period of time, they are not ready to provide real financial and military support from the federal budget. But I hope that things will change. At least maybe that's a wishful thinking. But it depends both on the outcomes of US midterm elections.
And so security guarantees are just as valuable to you in a way?
So in terms of security guarantees, first we need to stop the war. And that's the most important issue. In terms of the security guarantees, look what's happening with the Article 5 of NATO Treaty. What kind of real ironclad security guarantees Ukraine can get? Only in case if Ukraine gets military boots on the ground. But NATO allies are reluctant to provide these kind of security guarantees.
And of course, Vladimir Putin says he'll give no such concession on that in the talks.
There is no way to get any kind of concession from Vladimir Putin. Just no way. We have to realize that we are irreconcilable in our demands and his demands. So he wants to annihilate Ukraine, and we want to survive. So he wants to kill us, and we want to leave. So, and it's important for everyone to realize that it's up to the Western world to decide what kind of security guarantees Ukraine can get. Okay. And going back once again to the security guarantees, the best way is to get military boots on the ground, and the best way is to make Ukraine a NATO member. But as there is no political will at this particular period of time, what is needed? We need weaponry, we need financial support, we need tougher sanctions, we need depots of ammunition in Ukraine, we need tomahawks, long-range missiles in order to get deterrence against the Russian air raid and air attacks. So that's what's on the table.
Okay. Arseniy Yatsenyuk, thank you very much indeed for joining me today, former Prime Minister of Ukraine, Chairman of the Kyiv Security Forum, who is in Munich.